Okay, so now we will start again so that I can record it properly. Okay, so now this module is completely a theory module. So here first I am going to start with thermal oxidation. Next we will discuss about diffusion. So I hope you guys already studied about diffusion also. Then there are some techniques which are used for fabrication of PN junctions. Here fabrication is nothing but the constructing or the manufacturing of the devices which are based on electronic devices, or we call them as integrated circuits. Okay. So now first we have to understand what is thermal oxidation. So thermal oxidation is nothing but, here thermal represents the temperature, oxidation is nothing but here exposing a particular material to the oxygen. Okay, we call it as oxidation. So thermal temperature with oxidation. So I will show you how we are going to use this thermal oxidation and what is the importance of thermal oxidation in fabrication of PN junctions. So PN junctions means I am going to use P-type or N-type material for the manufacturing or the fabricating the junctions. So now I will start with the first topic. So that is fabrication of PN junctions. Okay. So this is module 5. So in this module 5, so first I will start with fabrication of PN junction. So in that thermal oxidation. So here, so this is the block diagram which we are using to perform thermal oxidation. So first thing, what I am going to do in this thermal oxidation. So what I am going to do, so here our intention is to make a fabrication. So fabrication using PN junction. So what I am going to do, so all the fabrications in the electronic devices are always used by a silicon type of semiconductor. So in thermal oxidation, so what I am going to do, so I will take a silicon, okay, in short we call it as silica also, which is taken from quartz material or a quartz crystal which is used in the watch also. So we call it as a quartz. So using that quartz we can extract the silica. Okay. So now this silica, in other terms we call it as silicon. So for this silicon I am going to expose it through the one oxidation process. For example, if I chemically combine with the O2, then I can say that it forms SiO2. So I can call it as silicon oxide or silicon dioxide layer. Okay. So now you can say that silica has been oxidized using oxygen or using air, you can say. So forms silicon dioxide layer. We call it as oxidation. So here the meaning of thermal means we are using it at a very high temperature. We are performing oxidation at very high temperature. So because of this we call it as thermal oxidation. So this process of this chemical process is performed at a high temperature around 800 degrees Celsius to 1000 degrees Celsius. Okay. So we are performing this one which requires 800 degrees Celsius to 1000 degrees Celsius. So to perform this thermal oxidation we need a particular furnace, so which can perform this operation. So this is what we are showing in the diagram just to perform this thermal oxidation. So now I will show you how to perform this this thermal oxidation and how we can obtain, okay, oxidation using a quartz or using a silicon. So now look at this furnace. I call it as a vertical furnace with large silica wafer for thermal oxidation. So I call it as a vertical furnace which is used to perform oxidation. Okay, this is a furnace or the device which holds this chemical process. So here what I am going to use? I am going to use one large silica wafer. So wafer is nothing but it is a quantity of silica, okay, which is placed in the furnace. Okay, so that quantity is exposed to the oxygen or to the water to perform oxidation. So now before explaining this, first we need to understand what are the things which are used to construct this vertical furnace. So now we will start with the top. First we have a pyrometer. So this is the symbol of pyrometer which is used here. The role of pyrometer is just to measure the temperature. So why we use this? We use this pyrometer just to measure the temperature of the object. Here the object is nothing but the temperature of the furnace. Okay, pyrometer is used to measure the temperature of the object without touching the object physically. Means only here this pyrometer role is to check how much temperature is built in the or inside this furnace. So that is the role of pyrometer without touching this furnace physically. So by using pyrometer, now we can measure the temperature of this furnace. Next is here this one. So this is nothing but it is used to inlet the water or to inlet the gas. Here we can use the gas or the water to perform oxidation. So now here gas is nothing but oxygen and the water is here water is nothing but H2O. So anyone can be utilized to perform oxidation, and I will tell you what will be the difference if I use a gas like oxygen and if I use a water. So what kind of oxidation we can call, that I will tell you later. Just remember, so this is used just to side the water or the gas. Okay, once the sufficient gas or the water has been inlet, then the same path is used to outlet the remaining gas which is not required for the oxidation. So this is used for the gas outlet, here gas flow outside, and this is used for the water outlet. Okay, so here you can use this for the water outlet also, like this. So now this is for the gas and water inlet and outlet. Okay, so remember, so this is why the purpose of gas and water. So next is we'll move on to the outside surface of this furnace. So now this is what? So this part which is shown here, this part and this part. So we call it is an electric furnace. Okay, so this is an electric furnace, so which uses a heater coils. Here the dots which are using, we call them as heaters. Okay, so now the role of electric furnace is to provide a temperature or to provide the electricity to a heater. So these heater coils establish a temperature which is required for the furnace, and for this oxidation, as I told you, we need 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius temperature. So to establish that desired temperature, we need the electric furnace and the heater. And this electric furnace is made up of a tungsten wire. Remember these lines which are shown here. So these lines are nothing but, these are the tungsten wire which is connected to the electricity. Okay, and internally they are connected to the heater to establish a desired temperature around 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius. So now this is the role of electric furnace and the heater. Next is cassette. Okay, to So two types of cassettes are used. One is a cassette, another one is a cassette loader, which is shown here. So this path, this one, we call it as a cassette. Okay. So this is nothing but a cassette, which is shown here. So the role of the cassette is to hold the silicon wafer, okay, at a temperature of 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius. It is just used to hold the silicon wafer. Wafer is nothing but it is a quantity of silicon which is placed in this cassette. Inside the cassette, these lines which are shown here, these are nothing but silicon wafers, okay, or a piece of quartz which is placed here. A piece of a quartz, in other words, we call it as silica. So the cassette is used to hold that silicon wafer, and cassette loader is used to load, okay, to load the required quartz or the silicon in that cassette. So as soon so that is the role of cassette loader, to load the quartz into the cassette. Okay. Next is here, this one, water. So within this cassette, we are going to put a water. So that water will used for oxidation. Okay. So with reference to the quartz here. The last is furnace. So here the role of furnace tube to establish the desired temperature. This is the furnace tube which is shown here. So this is the furnace tube which is used here. So just to control and maintain that high temperature which is around 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius. Okay. To maintain that temperature, we are using this furnace tube. Next is, there are another two are there. This is a clean bench. We call it as clean bench. Once it performs oxidation, when I send a gas to the furnace, so it performs oxidation, means the O2 reacts with the silicon and performs oxidation and generates silicon dioxide layer. Once it performs SiO2 layer, okay, so at that time it may generate some unwanted material in the furnace. So that unwanted material can be removed using this clean bench. So the role of clean bench is just to remove the unwanted material which is present in the furnace. The last is the vacuum pump. The vacuum pump is, as we know that we are operating this under very high temperature, so there is a possibility of creating a vacuum inside the furnace. So to avoid this vacuum, so we are using a vacuum pump to absorb that vacuum which is present inside the furnace. So this is the role of each material used in this electric or used in this vertical furnace. So now what happens? I will explain now the process, the simple process. So if I send a gas inside the furnace, if I send gas which is nothing but here O2. So what it does? It will react with the surface of silicon and forms SiO2, okay, silicon dioxide layer. We call it as oxidation. So if I use gas, then it is called as dry oxidation. So if I use water, again it reacts with Si and forms SiO2, but it is called as wet oxidation. So using this vertical furnace, we are capable of performing two oxidations. One is dry oxidation, if I give the oxygen as a gas, and another one is wet oxidation, if I give water for the oxidation. So each time when it undergo with oxidation, so it consumes a 0.44 millimeter or micrometer. 0.44 micrometer of silica is consumed while it performs oxidation and forms silicon dioxide layer, so which is used in fabrication. And I already explained the fabrication in MOSFET. I hope you guys remember that. In that I said we are performing oxidation. That just by taking one p-type substrate like this, I hope you guys remember this. So this is a p-type substrate, okay. So there we are exposing this to the oxidation. So if I do it oxidation, then it performs here oxide layer, which is shown. I hope you guys remember this. If I take this as a p-type or n-type substrate, okay, which is made up of silicon, so then what it does, it will expose to this oxidation and forms silicon dioxide layer. And I said that this silicon dioxide layer acts as an insulator between the terminals and the substrate. So only for this oxidation we are doing this much, okay. So it requires this much of temperature and furnace just to perform one oxidation process. But here we are using a large quantity of quartz, where at a single time it is capable of performing many type of such oxidation process, which is used for fabrication to manufacture either NMOS, PMOS or BJT, whatever we want, that can be manufactured using this oxidation process, okay. So this is how vertical furnace is used just to perform one process, that is thermal oxidation, just to create one layer on the surface of p-type material. So only for that we are doing, okay, this thermal oxidation. So hope it is clear for everyone, and I will show you there are some reactions which I said. So here it is shown that if the silicon layer or the quartz is exposed with O2, so it performs SiO2 layer, we call it as dry oxidation. Suppose if the same Si is exposed to the water, H2O, that's nothing but water, it performs again SiO2, but to balance this chemical equation, we have to multiply 2 here and we will get it as 2H2. So this is the waste which is present in the furnace. So this can be removed using the clean bench which I shown there, and we call it as wet oxidation. So this is our answer, SiO2. So this is what which is explained here, okay. I hope you guys go through this. So hope it is clear for everyone. So I will just repeat what is the role of each, okay. First is pyrometer, just to measure the temperature without touching the vertical furnace. Water inlet, gas inlet, to perform dry oxidation and wet oxidation. This is the electric furnace, just to establish a desired temperature, okay. This electric furnace is made up of tungsten wire connected to the heaters to establish 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius temperature. Next, cassette, just to hold a quartz crystal or a silica wafer. Cassette loader, it is used to load the quartz into the furnace. Next, so water which is present through the cassette just to maintain a particular temperature. Then clean bench to remove the unwanted material present inside the furnace tube. Vacuum pump just to control the vacuum which is created in the furnace. So then either you need to send gas or you can send water to perform oxidation. If gas, dry oxidation; if water, wet oxidation. So then we can get a silicon dioxide layer. So this is about, okay, thermal oxidation, which is the first topic for fabrication of PN junction. So now it is clear for everyone. Just respond in the chat. Do it fast. If it is clear, send it as yes. Otherwise, if you want to repeat a particular part, So I will repeat the same thing. Do it fast. Okay, so hope so everyone understood this. It's just a theory part. Okay, I'm using just one vertical furnace just to discuss how it performs thermal oxidation. Okay, and where I'm going to use this oxidation? I'm going to use this oxidation in fabrication process. We already discussed BJT fabrication and MOSFET fabrication. There we have a SiO2 layer which acts as an insulator between the p-type and the terminals. Okay, so that's why we perform oxidation, and this is the process which is used to perform oxidation. Okay, I hope it is clear for everyone now. So in the next class we will start with the diffusion. That is the next topic. Okay, so diffusion, I hope you guys already know that. So to move from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area, so that we will discuss in next class, and this diffusion is related with thermal oxidation. Okay, so that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, so now send your USA numbers for the attendance. Do it fast. Okay, fine. I hope everyone responded in the chat box. So I will consider your attendance. So if you have any doubts, just you can send a message in the chat or WhatsApp group, so that I will clear your the doubts also. Okay. Okay. So thank you for attending the class.